Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Lada Egorova on the line, and she is a co-founder over at Pocket Cinema, and this interview is part of our AFM series, so our American Film Market series, where we bring you the best of those who attended and participated in AFM in Century City, California. So first thing first, Lada, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here.
All right, so we got a good topic today talking about elevated vertical series and what that means, and also short series, and I want to talk about that. But first, AFM, American Film Market. Have you been before? Was this the first year? Tell me a little bit more about your experience.
Yeah, it was my first year actually, and it was a great experience. I kind of prepared as good as I could, but it was my first time, and I think it was great. At first, it felt really a little bit stressful because I didn't know what to expect really and how the week would go. But honestly, it was a great experience. So many opportunities to meet people. A lot of meetings. I ended up having a lot of meetings throughout the whole week, and that was really great. A great place to really connect with a lot of people, not just from the U.S. or the LA industry, but really people from all over the world, or filmmakers from everywhere.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun, too, and I was looking at it, and I was thinking about it. For the people that have been many, many times, they said it was one of the best years that they can remember. So I was like, oh, I came at the right year, right? Well, I want to talk a little bit more about your work and what you're doing. So maybe first start telling me a little bit about Pocket Cinema.
Yes, so Pocket Cinema is an app. It's a platform that me and my co-founder, Thiago, have created. We've been working on this for this past year, and it's an app that will launch by the end of this year. So it's an app that people can then download on their App Store and their Android store. And basically what it is, an app where people can watch short series. We'll have vertical series, but we also have horizontal series. But it's like a lot of little episodes, and we're really focused on a lot of different genres. We have sci-fi, we have Western, we'll have the horror, action, thriller, a lot of content, a lot of series for audiences to watch on their phone.
How did you get into this type of content creating? Like, where did that start for you? Where did you get this idea for Pocket Cinema?
Yeah, so I've been a filmmaker for several years, mostly been doing short films, worked on features, on TV pilots, and this past year I've been working on those different vertical sets, vertical micro dramas series, and for different platforms, and that's kind of where I discovered this growth, this insane evolution and trend of those series all over the U.S. and China, where it all started. And so from working on those film sets in LA, I got to see how the filming process works, how the structure of those episodes work, how the workflow works. And then with my co-founder, we kind of saw a gap where we were like, okay, these platforms, they focus on mostly drama and romance, and all the stories are always very similar. And it seems like even though sometimes they experiment a little bit with, there's a little bit of stunts and actions here and there, or it's taking place in a little fantasy world, but most of the time the storytelling, the narrative is always the same. So then we're like, what if we keep that structure, this very short episodes format, and then we experiment with the vertical framing, the vertical format, but we bring other genres to it. So what if we do a vertical horror or vertical action? What would this look like? So that's kind of where it came from. It came from discovering this trend and working on those sets, and then seeing that there is a gap and an opportunity for filmmakers to get onto this trend, but in a slightly different way.
How does this relate to the future of indie filmmaking? Like, where do you see this going?
Yeah, I think it's a really exciting time, and I think specifically this growing trend of vertical series, of those micro dramas. I feel like because a lot of those, they're being shot on lower budget than how you would usually shoot a TV show. The budgets are much smaller, and also the timeline of the entire project are much shorter. And I feel like it's a great way for indie filmmakers to jump on this trend because, first of all, it's a way for them to connect even faster to their audiences, because instead of having to pitch to studios or things like that, now they can develop their concept and bring it to the platform or build their own platform and directly reach their audiences. And I think it's also very exciting because I think indie filmmakers are very smart and they're very resourceful. Most of the time, they know how to make incredible things happen with a limited budget and whatever they have access to. So I think this is a great trend for them because they will know how to make anything look great with a smaller budget than how a Hollywood studio would spend millions on it. But indie filmmakers, they can create something great for less money, but still with like a unique voice. I think it's a great space for indie filmmakers who maybe are still struggling to enter the Hollywood system, and they have ideas that might seem a little too original, a little too crazy for the normal system. And here I feel like because this trend it's about creating a lot of series, and the timelines are so short that you can test a lot of concepts in such a short amount of time, and you get to adapt and see, okay, does that concept, does this idea work? Where can we pivot? So I think it's a really good format for indie filmmakers where they can find their space and really experiment those ideas that might be a little too much for traditional distributors or producers, production companies.
How have you found like the business side of this? And what I mean by that specifically is it's still a pretty new space. So when you talk about like distribution or like working with distributors or other things like that, like how has that been for you? And I'm curious if you had any interesting conversations at AFM or otherwise, like around that in this part of the space.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because you have two sides of the industry. First of all, you have some people that are still not aware of what are those vertical dramas, what are those micro dramas, what is this trend. Even more, I would say, European distributors or producers, a lot of them were still unaware at AFM. And then you have the other part who are aware of it. Either they've been working on those already or they've just learned about it recently and they're like really excited about that. And what I thought was the most exciting part of AFM was like meeting those people and who are really interested in this new format and who are curious to start experimenting. I think from what I've noticed that so there's a lot of excitement around that. And I think it's such a new format that some people want to get in, but they don't really know. And then some people are still a little bit unsure of how it works, and I feel like they're kind of waiting for somebody to do it to kind of prove, okay, does this format work in a different genre, or they kind of wanted to see if there's somebody who can experiment with it a little more and kind of like prove if the format actually will work differently or not. And I think that's what we're trying to do with Pocket Cinema is we want to be among the first ones to really experiment with this format in a different way than what those other platforms have been doing. And then kind of hopefully attract even more people that were interested in this format, but maybe they're still a little bit shy or reticent yet. But it's interesting because we've been really having a lot of conversations lately. And as the weeks go, we have more and more people who are reaching out and asking us, oh, what is this? I've been hearing that. I'm curious. Please tell me more. I think there's a lot of excitement, but also some people are still hesitating and waiting for somebody to kind of lead the way and see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm excited about the space personally, and I'm following it and going to continue to keep following it because I think it's going to evolve. And I don't really see it as competition for traditional media. I feel like it's just it's expanding the market, if anything. And I feel like there's going to be some people that start in this form because maybe it was, I don't want to use the word easier to get into, but I just mean like it was, like you said, you could maybe test some concepts faster and maybe some bigger like project, or I shouldn't say bigger projects, but some different ways of expressing that story or universe that's created or world that's created is maybe at some point, some of them will transition into longer films and full features and maybe the big screen. Like there's just a lot, it just adds more possibility for the narrative, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah, I truly believe that some creators that are currently working or that will start working in this format will, in a couple of months or years, really explode and probably might go in the more traditional feature films, theater release type of trajectory. But I think, it will, a lot of great creators, I truly believe, can emerge from this trend.
Yeah, amazing. Well, Lada, this has been a lot of fun having you on the show today and getting to know more about your work over at Pocket Cinema. That being said, if somebody wants to follow your work or connect, how do they do that?
Yeah, so we have a landing page for Pocket Cinema. It's pocketcinema.info-app. And then I also have my personal website. It's my first name, my last name, Egorova.com. And there, if anybody wants to reach out, we have a newsletter for Pocket Cinema. And on my personal website, there's a way of emailing me if anyone wants to talk more about this or wants to get involved. We love to chat with people, and obviously we definitely are connecting with more and more filmmakers in industry people for Pocket Cinema. So yeah, if anybody wants to reach out, please do, because I think it's a really exciting time.
Fantastic. For everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so you can just click on the links and head right on over and check out the work that Lada's putting out. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey. And yes, you heard me right. It's daily, and we got lots of great interviews planned, so we don't want you to miss a thing. Hit that subscribe. And Lada, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, Adam. Thank you for your time.